Airline.
The Clippers can do whatever the hell they want, but I'm not going to trust them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yo, it's time for mans to get their hate out their heart. It's time for mans to let it out. It's time for mans to tell us who hurt him because he's coming with some kind of negative energy. Yo, Harry, who hurt you?
During your formative years, you get to experiment with things. You get to learn what your identity is. You get to step into the shoes of the man that you will become and walk the path of life. In your early 30s, you may still be on that path. Figuring things out are just a regular part of life. Would you guys not agree? It was not rhetorical.
Bro, we're muted, but we agree.
Now, imagine you just so happen to be very, very, very good at something. Something where you're considered the 1% of the world. And people two, three times your age are following you with cameras, with notepads to gossip about your every single move. But also, keep in mind that you voicing any concern, any emotion, and things of that sort can dictate whether you're employed over a long period of time or whether you get the snips like a barbershop. I'm just going to say a quick story. Kevin Durant tweeted at the media, not at the media, sorry. He tweeted from a burner account. Think of it as you must. And he tweeted from a burner account and got slack from it from the media. And what did the media say? Kyrie, sorry, I said Kyrie. Kevin Durant, why respond to this? You're twice his age. But wait, this didn't come from someone Kevin Durant's age. This didn't come from one of his aggregates. It came from someone twice his age. Now, let me expand. DeMarcus Cousins, averaging, I believe it was 25 and 13, 25 and 12. Please check me on that if you must. Exiled from the league. Russell Westbrook painted, tarred, and feathered by these same narratives. Kyrie Irving plays phenomenal basketball. But we're going to gossip about him walking with a stick that's reflective of his native heritage? Who hurt me? The media, because this is bogus. The media is not reporting actual facts about basketball. The media is here to destroy careers. The media, not the media in general, just certain members in the media, I want to specify, but those members are ruining basketball for all of us fans. The media are controlling the narratives for certain players, which control their livelihood, which influence their legacies. And I'm not for it. In the words of Zach Randolph, where I'm from, we bully the bullies. The media hurt me by hurting themselves.
uh, here's my Beanie, you want to go first?
No, I'm just trying to do that like the poem, like the snap.
Bro, the snapping one should have been done when I did my Scott Brooks take. Now when
Yeah,
I
sure.
gave you guys
Yeah.
everything I had.
Yeah,
My issue with that is that's their job. Their job is to paint a picture and create a narrative. Like it's literally in there. They go to college, they go to school, they go to university for that very thing.
I'm happy you said that.
and it's known, like we know that that's what they do.
I'm
So
happy you said that.
I'm not saying what they do is right. I'm not, by all means, but we have to also understand that that's the job that they're given. Literally, journalists are given tasks. Hey, find something dirty about this player,
Mm-hmm.
scope, dig, investigate. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't scapegoat all journalists, because at the end of the day they have to make a living, they got to provide for their family.
I'm
What
happy you
they are
said that.
doing is incorrect, but that's all I'll say.
Where I'm going to argue that you look at the sports shows, you look at ESPN where they call the game. Is it TNT? Sorry,
NBA on TNT, yeah.
what makes that show popular?
Chuck and Shaq.
It's the fact, yes, but it's also the fact that they get actual NBA players, they get credible people to give actual analysis about games that actually make the games transparent. Right now, in the case of the media, they're reporting falsehoods about players. They're ruining livelihoods when, in all reality, they could make transparent certain things. Rachel Nichols, why is she one of the bigger figureheads in the media? Because she's not falling for the low hanging fruit. She's going to the top of the tree. She's building those connections with these players, and those players now sit down with her and have those conversations. There's a reason why these journalists are biting onto the low-hanging fruit. Yeah, sure, you can say it's for their livelihood, but if they were in the pursuit of journalistic integrity, which is truth, honesty, um, and I don't have it in front of me, so I can't really disseminate all of it, but if they were genuinely in pursuit of the truth, they could take stories, they could build those relationships with players, and they can give us an actual glance at what the NBA truly is, at what the game of basketball truly is. The game of basketball is being tainted by gossip, and that's what the media is doing. When the media pursues the truth, that is when the game of basketball elevates itself in a corporate context and also in an urban context.
The truth
However,
doesn't sell.
it
Is my
does.
point.
It does because one of the biggest shows for basketball are the jump. One of the biggest shows for basketball is First Take. One of the biggest shows for basketball is Undisputed. Why? Because they take actual events that happened, they take games, they analyze, they seek to give an in-depth view of certain things. Maybe they're limited in their knowledge, but at least that is an attempt that they are doing.
Skip Bayless consistently lies.
So I have a rebuttal to this. I just
100%.
so when it comes to I personally as a avid basketball fan, I can't sit down and watch Undisputed or First Take anymore because
I
I just
agree.
find that their takes are horrible. They really don't reflect and care about the NBA players. I just feel like their takes are very careless. That's what I think. And I'm just not sure. Like, can you provide me an example, Perry, of like how the media has caused a dramatic infringement to a player's career that has turned detrimental to them? Because you gave an example with DeMarcus Cousins, and
Carmelo Anthony.
it has nothing.
Carmelo
Okay,
Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony. We'll talk about Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony had an ego, which was very clear throughout the NBA, and he even admitted it on national TV. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the correlation to
I
this.
still do believe the media had a heavy hand in the way that he was portrayed to teams. I believe that
Wouldn't you blame that more on the franchise that he was with last? Like, don't you? Wouldn't you blame that more on Houston, the way they dealt with him? Because Houston, they set that up. They set it up. They said he didn't want to come off the bench, so he's not going to be on our team anymore. So they cut him after 9 games. So would that be more on their fault or the media? Because the media is just reporting on what information is told to them.
no, I understand, but I do believe. Okay, I'm going to stop using the word believe. I have seen the way DeMarcus Cousins has addressed the media. I have seen the way Allen Iverson was portrayed in the media, where his career was cut prematurely. I've seen the way Steven Jackson was labeled as a thug for defending a teammate during the Malice at the Palace. I've seen the way Matt Barnes was portrayed. I've seen how I said Lamarcus Aldridge, but Lamar Odom was portrayed via the media, and all of those you can bring to one source. Then you look at the players that are overrated, for example. Those are players that have been essentially accentuated by the fact that the media is riding their coattails. So if you look at certain things, right, the media votes for MVPs, right? The media votes for the MVP,
Yes,
and there's no consistent criteria. It's not transparent. We're not going to talk
absolutely.
about, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to talk about that.
But I don't get how because you said it's detrimental to a player's
It is
career. Like I don't
detrimental,
understand.
but it is
Because like
detrimental
these guys are
because
still getting max contracts, so I don't get what you mean. Like
it is
DeMarcus Cousins, the only reason why he hasn't been able to get a contract is because he tore his Achilles and he tore his ACL. And as a
Mhm.
And
businessman,
meniscus.
as a businessman, you don't give a player like that with that kind of injury history big money because it's just you already know what's happened. You already know it's
Understood.
happened in the past. So like I don't know. Like you said, Westbrook, you said KD, you said Kyrie. Those guys all got max contracts last, and they're still gonna get max contracts after. So
1000%.
I
Now,
don't I don't understand how it's
I'm just gonna
detrimental to
I'm just
them.
gonna delve into it. Yeah, yeah. We're talking about the superstars. Now we're looking at Russell Westbrook. What was the media's interpretation of Russell Westbrook at the beginning of the season?
Washed.
Washed. Okay. Now let's look at the players who are getting heavy consideration for MVPs. Luka Doncic is among them. Am I lying?
No.
No,
Luka Doncic, his stat line, can we not say that it's similar, eerily similar to that of Russell Westbrook's?
He averages less assists, rebounds, shoots a lower percentage from three, a lower percentage from the field goal, only averages 7 points more than Russell Westbrook.
Ben Simmons, regarded as the next LeBron, can we not say he's fallen? I don't like saying short because that is just an understatement.
Um,
I
I'm
think the media
gonna.
is on him though. In my opinion, like
I think it's
No,
disrespectful to put them in the same sentence, but I digress.
he's getting heavy consideration for Defensive Player of the Year, well deserved. But
yeah,
they're saying that his defense compensates for his shortcomings offensively.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They
Now,
are.
Mukhtar, let's take a deeper look because we like to swim out here. And now I want you to think of teams that aren't getting the attention they deserve or the respect they deserve. Can we not say that it's can we not say that there is a strong correlation between the teams that are not being respected and the media coverage?
Can I just interject right here?
absolutely.
Can I
Yeah,
just
you can.
interject right here? Just because if we remember a couple of years ago when the Raptors were at their prominence before Kawhi Leonard, how much coverage were the Raptors getting when they were actually playing decent basketball? DeMar DeRozan figured out how to dribble with his left hand and go left. Can we not say that what Perry's talking about, their choice of coverage? They decided to post about LeBron. They decided to post about other players that are more marketable in the more marketable cities instead of posting about the up and coming Raptors in as Canada's only team. So I think
It
that's
just
what Perry's alluding to, if you
But
understand
my
what I mean.
issue, my issue is not that they posted about LeBron in a basketball context. My issue is that rather than covering the Utah Jazz in terms of systems, offensive sets, or whatever it is to make the game transparent and
Hmm.
accessible globally, they're talking about Kyrie walking with a stick.
I mean, that was only weird because we've never seen him do it before. That's
Yes,
why.
but he's speaking of getting in touch with his native heritage. Make an interview. Let him share that culture.
but
No,
don't
They're
you
no,
just
feel
that
as like
they're
I'm
just
agreeing
zooming out, taking they're zooming out, taking the picture, and just
with
old
zero
man Kyrie
context.
with his
Yeah,
stick, blah 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 blah. So
absolutely.
the media is not doing a service to anybody with the way that they're reporting anything. I'm not going to say anything, but the way that a lot of things are being disseminated, information is not being disseminated properly. If you're going to talk about Kyrie saging the gym, let's talk about it. Bring him on the panel. Ask him about it. Ask him about the cultural background of all of that stuff. But we don't hear about that. We call Kyrie crazy. We'll move off from Kyrie. Russell Westbrook. Let's analyze. Hey, why are his teams not winning? Why? Let's analyze roster composition. Let's analyze what does a player need in order to succeed. People would watch that. That's why basketball podcasts are successful. That's why a lot of YouTube pages are getting millions or hundreds of thousands of followers. Why? Because they're looking at the minutia and they're sharing it with people, because there are multiple perspectives, multiple lenses, but we're looking from a myopic lens of gossip.
My father used to work for the BBC, and he dealt with a lot of the engineering, the engineering aspect of the BBC. So he'd obviously have to sit in on the news reports and stuff like that. And he said, whenever he had to listen in the meetings and stuff like that, he found the best thing he learned from that was the most important thing about a story is context, and the media fails every single time to provide context with any story. And if we look at the Kyrie Irving situation, where he was, I believe, I don't want to misquote, but he was saging the basketball court. Is that the
Yes.
I believe he was burning sage.
burning sage around the basketball court? Okay,
if that's the
it's a
correct
ritual,
word.
if I'm not mistaken. It's a
I believe
Yes.
so.
Yeah,
I don't
it's a
know if it's a
ritual.
ritual, but it's like a cultural practice to
Okay,
like cleanse the aura.
so I'll say it's a cultural practice. They just, if you notice how they covered it, a lot of the posts on Instagram, I'll say because that's the main outlet that we have nowadays. A lot of the posts on Instagram were Kyrie urging saging the court with no other context as to this is something, because he came out and said this is something I've done on multiple occasions. This is something I've done since the beginning of my career, even at Duke. And Coach K even testified to that fact. So the most important thing with media and stories is context. And I apologize, Mike, for cutting you off because I know it jumped in there on you. My bad.
No, no problem. When it comes to the media covering certain things, I think the NBA players give them context. Like I think they give them free content. Honestly, like I think, like for Kyrie Irving's example, the reason why the media was on him so much this season, especially at the beginning of the year, is because he literally refused to speak to them, so he couldn't defend himself. So if you're gonna allow corporations and businesses to make opinions about yourself, and you, who in your contract it says you are supposed to defend yourself and speak for
Mhm.
yourself no matter when, and you refuse that, then I don't see, like, I know that they're making Kyrie look bad, but I don't see what's wrong with that. They're doing their
So
job at the end of the
when
day.
is when
He's
is it
refusing
that
to speak to them
when is it that he refused to speak?
at the beginning of the season.
Okay, and has he spoken since?
He's spoken after the
I just need
staging
a yes or
incident and
no.
stuff like
But
that. Yes,
no,
he
but he
has.
had, that's not a straightforward answer, Perry, because he had a hiatus where for the first 2 weeks of the season he didn't speak to media members.
I
Then he
understand.
went on. Then he took time off for personal reasons, albeit
Yes.
to get his
For like
mental
a
health
month and a
together,
bit. Yeah.
whatever the case may be. Didn't speak to the media at any point during that. Obviously, he cannot. But then came back. Another week went by when he didn't say a word, and then finally decided to have a press conference in which he addressed every single issue. So that
Yes.
is different. You can't say, but
I'm
did
not
he
speaking
speak
of
to
the
them?
narrative for those 2 weeks. I'm not speaking of the narrative for those 2 weeks. I'm saying
Oh,
right
okay.
now.
But that's when the saging and stuff like that
No, I
happened.
understand,
So
but I'm saying right
I'm
now,
just saying.
Okay.
the media has had access to Kyrie Irving, but no
Hmm.
one has addressed. Hey, tell us about the saging. Tell us about this walking stick. Tell us the
Tell us about your
cultural
mental
background.
health. Well,
Yeah,
what's
tell
going
us about the
on?
mental health. But these issues are not being brought to the forefront. Why? Because they're seeking gossip. Also,
But wouldn't you
I
say it's because
forgot
he
to.
already addressed them?
Sorry, I don't believe that Kyrie Irving really addressed them.
He didn't address his saging. He didn't explain himself. I sage because it's a part of my ritual.
He did. No,
Like he
he
didn't.
did.
He
Did he do
absolutely
that with the
addressed
media, or
everything
did he do that
with the
via?
media.
No,
With
he
the
did that with the
media.
media. It was a
Okay.
pre-game or a post-game conference, I believe.
Yeah, post game conference. Yeah.
Also,